Hey, Susan. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right. Hope everything is, off to a good start for the year, and that
Everything's good.
your holidays, I know, may not have been the easiest, but that were,
They weren't, they were quiet, but they were okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My sister and I took that big trip. So that was really great.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
We went to San Francisco and went to that San Francisco Tampa game. Not, yeah. Yeah, San Francisco Tampa football game.
Oh, wow.
We went to Yosemite and then we went
Yeah.
to Valley and Red Rock Canyon, and it was a blast. And then we went to that Vegas Patriots game, that
All right.
debacle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a blast. We had a great time.
That's awesome. I'm really delighted to hear it. So, was there a picture of you uh, as a Christmas caroler in the paper?
There was, yes. I did that when I got back from my vacation. Yes,
All right.
we did. My sister and I and a girlfriend of mine. Yeah, it was so nice. I know a couple of people over at Brightview.
Yeah.
So it was just nice to be able to go say, okay, I'm going to see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was
really neat.
fun, actually.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah, funny.
How's your singing voice, Mr. Spalding?
La la la. I guess I'm all right. It was
La 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 la.
yeah, fa la la la. Yeah, we did that for years with the Cub Scouts too. We did the caroling at Brightview and a few other places.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of the other Cub Scout leaders could play the piano, so that was awesome at Brightview because they could just
Oh, yeah,
play songs. Yeah.
right. Right. I used to do it with church, the First Baptist Church. We would go to the nursing homes when I was 12.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asked not to be in the choir. Like you can really do, you can do a lot in other places.
Yeah.
All right, I've done all the right login things I'm supposed to have done. That's good news.
Make Jim the co-host.
Jim is the co-host. Captioning is fired up.
So we've got the right link.
Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh, Susan, you missed it.
Well, the meeting started 17 minutes late because somebody else logged on and
No, the login, it wasn't working.
oh,
Yeah.
wow. I
So we-
don't
we
even
were-
check that.
No, and we were concerned. There was when you would log into the one from the
The one from Sherry.
Wakefield. So it would say the meeting is in progress or something like you couldn't get in. So there was something with the link, but Sherry figured it out. And yeah, we were delayed like 20 minutes or so.
Oh my God. I would have been in a huge panic if that happened.
I think we all were because we had a public forum. So we were like,
Yeah.
we can't really have the meeting without the public having access to the meeting. It defeats the whole purpose.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it was nice to have a little open meeting law excitement, but that's good.
Yeah.
The new year is off to a fresh start. Yeah. So there we go. All right. So I did click enable closed captioning, but I'm not. Are folks able to see it?
Yes.
Okay. Why am I not? Cool. There we go. Aaron's back.
Sorry, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm having problems with my video. I must have done something last night at our master plan meeting where I was doing a hybrid. So I'm going to try to figure that out, but I'm here.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And all right, well, one more minute for Megan. We can get started. Did everybody have a good relaxing end of the year? I hope 2023 is off to a good start for everybody.
Yeah, it was nice. I took a bunch of time off and didn't check emails or anything for a while. It was good.
Excellent.
Needed it.
Good news.
Same. It was awesome.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we will get started and welcome Megan when she's here. So let's call our meeting to order, and I'll do a quick roll call. Jim Hogan,
Here.
Matt Lowry,
Here.
Bill Spalding,
Here.
and myself, Theo Knoll. I'm here. And Aaron Kokinda and Susan Auld from the town are here. And we have a guest who will go unnamed until items not anticipated, but we're really excited that she's joining us today. Trying to build a little anticipation here, folks. Second item number 2, approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read them? Does anybody have any edits, or is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the December 13th, 2022 minutes as presented.
Second.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Bill. All in favor? Matt?
Yes.
All right. Jim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
All right. And myself, yes, with acknowledgement that Megan is not in attendance. All right. So item number 3 is our MBTA communities update. Jim, turn it over to you and Aaron.
Yep. So as everyone on the board is aware, last month we had the first of the 3 question and answers sessions. I thought it was relatively successful. I'm incorporating a couple edits to the presentation to add a little bit of context for some of the scale of the housing on the basis of Councillor Chine's questions, in order to help guide the public a little bit better. In addition, Aaron and myself met with a third-party consultant. The state has offered grants for engaging of a third-party consultant to help the town facilitate and bring in some outside expertise, which we have been allotted. So his name is Ezra. He works, teaches at the MIT Urban Studies and Planning Department. And so we are using him as a resource in order to help guide the process, as well as spur some of the technical, leveraging him to have some of the technical expertise in terms of how to utilize the GIS modeling with town staff. So we had a kickoff meeting with him. He's going to be developing a scope of work and submitting it to the state for approval, and then based on that, executing that vision. Additionally, I'm going to be meeting with the ZBA tomorrow and the Environmental Sustainability Committee on Thursday to get them up to speed with what's been going on and the fact that the various members of town believe that representation from those 2 boards would be useful for that working group we're working to identify. So those are kind of the updates in terms of what's been going on to date. After this meeting, I'll try to finalize the edits to that presentation for our next question and answer sessions on the 24th and push it to the board for everyone's reference. And feel free to let me know if you have any comments in advance of that. Additionally, the only other open item that we have as a board on this at this time is to determine the working group is envisioned to have 2 representatives from our board. So I reached out to everyone and on the board, and not surprisingly, everyone seems to be interested in representing the planning board, which is a good problem to have. So I just want to flag it. I don't necessarily know if we need to I'll defer to you, Mr. Chairman, if we want to have that conversation now or if we want to defer to a later date, but
Recording in progress.
But at this time, the working group, the actual process hasn't been fully defined because we're still trying to figure out how to put some structure around that working process that would kick off on or about April 1st. So I think it's from talking to the consultant, talking with Aaron about how we could manage that. We're trying to figure out a way that we can have the 7 members of the working group come together, provide some sort of guidance to town staff, have them create a series of deliverables. And if we're envisioning it's going to be some sort of iterative process over probably a 3 to 4 month period, but we haven't nailed down and bolted on what the actual commitment is going to be from whether it's a night or a series of night meetings or whatever that ends up being. We're still trying to figure out what to do in advance of the April 1st projected kickoff.
And hi, so I don't know what is going on with my camera. Theo was at my meeting last night. I had issues too. But yeah, no, just to talk a little bit more about that grant that we got. So that's, I think Jim did say, the Mass Housing Partnership. So they are getting the money is basically being funneled through the state, but the MHP is really the one handling it. MHP is the one that did all those webinars about the 3A, and which is still on their website. And Ezra is a gentleman that we've worked closely with through the Zoning Board of Appeals, so they're familiar with him as well. He actually helped us with our housing forum back in November of 2021, which is crazy to think about. That was that long ago. And so he's familiar with Wakefield, which I think is really nice. He's not coming in here, which I guess you could see it go both ways, but he's familiar with some of the developments that have come through and some of the 40Bs. And so I'm excited to work with him, just knowing that he has that background with Wakefield and has worked with the ZBA in the past too. And so, yeah, once we have a better idea and the scope of work is accepted by MHP, hopefully we can get the ball rolling, and he'll be connecting, like Jim said, with kind of our internal team when it comes to GIS. And we're really lucky that we do have a GIS administrator in our town, which a lot of communities do not have. And so he'll probably get her in a good position, as well as our engineering department, for us to carry this project forward after maybe his contract is finished. I think we're really in a good spot. And according to Ezra too, I think we are asking all the right questions, right, Jim? Like, I think he felt really positive and comfortable with where we were in the process too. So I just wanted to add that it was a really great conversation. I think made me feel a lot better too of where we're at, and a lot of positive things, to work towards. So
I would say that the feedback we got from Ezra was that Wakefield seems to be ahead of the game in terms of some of the other peer communities that he's observed, trying to figure out compliance with this law. And he thought it was also the way we were trying to set it up was prudent as it relates to trying to give us the ability to get in front of town hall or town meeting with a decent amount of lead up to try to build that consensus and build that understanding of what's going on in the community. Sounds like a lot of our peer communities have kind of done a lot less in terms of trying to build awareness than we have.
Really? Wow, that's really terrific. I meant to ask this and I sort of bungled it. Would you mind giving a quick 30-second overview for Maya's benefit? What is 3A and so what it means?
Sure. So recently there was a recent law that was passed called Section 3A that the state is mandating that we create a overlay district or some sort of zoning district within the community that allows for multifamily housing to be built as of right. Right now, a lot of the multifamily in Wakefield, you have to get a special permit, which involves a regulatory hurdle, which the state is interested in removing for the production of housing. So what we're trying to do right now is to set up a working group of planning board members, town council members, zoning board of appeal, Aaron, as well as the environmental sustainability committee, to take the feedback we're getting from the public right now in a series of question and answers, come together, help define an initial zoning map proposal, and then to use that as the basis of engaging with the balance of the town over a undefined public process in advance of needing to pass the zoning overlay sometime by the end of 2024. If we don't do it, there are a number of funding mechanisms that the state will not allow us to continue to do. And those programs, within the past 3 years, the town has received approximately $3.5 million from.
That's it's a neat, go for it, Aaron, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, talking about the grants too. So we did receive that interim compliance too. And so the next rounds of grants are coming out for this upcoming fiscal year through the state, through Community One Stop Growth. That's a big portal they have where you apply for all your grants. So by being in compliance, we are still able to apply for a number of those grant programs. So I just wanted to make note of that. And I can't speak for what anyone's going to be applying for, but I do think that there will be 1 or 2 grants that possibly we will be applying for as a community that we wouldn't be able to do if we weren't in compliance. So I think that's just important to note.
Yeah, I completely skipped over that, and thank you, Aaron, for reminding me. But Aaron did a great job there was an interim compliance component that we had to do by the end of January, and Aaron's already submitted to the state and they've already accepted it. So we're in compliance. So with multiple weeks to spare. So thank you, Aaron. That was a nice email to come back from vacation from.
For sure. I really appreciate sort of the note too, that we seem to be ahead of our peer communities. I think that speaks good town leadership. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Jim. So in terms of the second planning board member for the advisory group, the working group, since everyone's interested, I'm very happy to take my name off the list. So maybe that makes it one step easier. But I'm really comfortable, Jim, you just following up individually with folks and not putting anybody on the spot tonight or later. So.
Yeah, so I think at this point, the only person who hasn't responded is Megan. So Bill and Matt, we can offline it and figure out what makes the most sense. I know Matt also had some questions reasonable in terms of what's the meeting schedule, which unfortunately I can't answer at this time. So I'm working on that. Obviously, but between now and I'm hopeful sometime in the next month or so we can get that nailed down with a little bit more clarity.
Yeah. Excellent. Our next public forum about MBTAs is January 24th, which is our next planning board meeting. And the third one is February 28th. So I think there's actually a lot happening planning wise for Wakefield over the next 4 weeks or so. Really good to keep circulating these dates and times and encouraging other people to participate. So anything else on 3A? Does anybody have any questions, comments? All right.
Nothing else from me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Great. We can go to our master plan update, item 4. Aaron, do you want to start?
Sure.
All right, happy to.
So me and Theo were at town hall until 9:45 last night with
Yes.
probably, how many people were there? 13 of us or so from the advisory group, or not including Jen McDonald and I. So around 12 or 13 advisory group members going through the fourth and final public survey that kind of does coincide with the last two topics, which is the public facilities and infrastructure, as well as economic development. And so I feel like we have a really good final product, which has been the result of really great group of hardworking residents to get it down to really fit into talking about Wakefield. And so our fourth and final public meeting for the master plan is going to be February 1st via Zoom. We came up with doing Zoom based on, again, the advisory group, leaving it up to them and doing kind of a voting. And so, and I, as much as it was great meeting in person at our last meeting, I think February 1st, well, we haven't had much snow yet, but given the weather and stuff, that might be a safe bet. So we won't have to reschedule and maybe get some people that wouldn't be able to come otherwise. And then the survey is going to be opening up February 6th and will be open for 6 weeks. This much longer. I think the last one might have been open 6 weeks, but a pretty long time period for that survey to be open. So we'll be reaching out to all of you to help us spread the word on that survey. And then from there, MAPC will take back all the information from all the public meetings and all the surveys and start drafting the report. And come May, June, they will be presenting to the planning board as well as to the town council, with the planning board having the final say in adoption of this document, to hopefully have a final document sometime by July. And there will be an open comment period for people. And the advisory group will have a 5th meeting to review the draft and kind of make sure that everything we talked about is in there. So we'll have a final master plan by July, and I look forward to having that. And I think a big goal of mine is to really have a checklist, and I started doing that with Vision 2030 because it has been brought up a number of times, like, this is great, but I don't just want it going onto someone's desk, or not desk, going into a drawer and never being seen again. And so that's really on a priority list for me for 2023, is to go through Vision 2030 and then go through our master plan and really start that checklist and seeing what the overlaps are. So I'm really excited to finally have a good final project, and especially when it comes to zoning. I know we've talked about that a lot, looking at and more in depth with that based on what we see from the master plan. So I think there's going to be a lot of great final takeaways from these two documents that we've done over the last 3 years. So 2 years actually, which is fantastic, and a lot of community input, which has been great. So that's what I have, Theo.
Yeah, I agree. We had basically half of the advisory group there in person, and that really lent to a really nice discussion, and I think being really thoughtful and perceptive about the survey and about the questions, to make sure we're asking really informed questions that get to really thinking about town infrastructure, town services, economic development, and teasing out both preferences and some identifications for things that are missing. I think we did. One nice takeaway was realizing, as much as the master plan is going to help set some overall vision, rules of the road, but also really calling out a lot of action items for the town to do work on. So, we were debating a fair number of the questions last night, trying to get at, what is this going to tell us what to do? And in some ways, the good news is, it's giving us some ranked preferences or highlighting some areas, but a great takeaway will be, this is an area that we want the town to focus on and continue to unpack and to continue to find solutions for. So I think that also lends itself to the plan not being gathering dust on the shelf. I also think because of all the citizen input and because of this advisory group, I think people are going to be really informed about the master plan and aren't going to let it be forgotten. So, and it's incumbent on us to continue to keep it front and center as a document. So, and that it was, it's always, I think, really exciting to see everyone so engaged. And there's some really good brain power on this advisory group. So I was delighted to see it in action. So item 5, if there aren't any questions on the master plan, okay. All right. Item 5 are items not anticipated by the chair. And I wanted to introduce Maya Palik. She is our liaison from the Youth Council. And Maya, I think you can unmute yourself, or I can unmute you.
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Thea said, my name is Maya Palik, and I am part of the Wakefield Youth Council. My designated post is planning board. I am very happy to be able to have this opportunity and look forward to attending many meetings in the up and coming future. And thank you so much for letting me just tune in on your meetings and hear all the master plan information. I find it really interesting.
Oh, that's excellent. Can you tell us a little bit why you're interested in, why you're on the youth council, why you're interested in the youth council, and why you picked the planning board?
I applied to youth council in the beginning of the year, being interested in having a voice in the community. And I was very glad when I got in. And when it came to the final decision, which committee or board, I picked planning board because I was aware already about, it was about transportation systems and housing. And I actually did a project in 8th grade on like the transportation systems in Wakefield and how to approve it. And I was like, this sounds like something I'd be really interested in doing. And so, yeah, that was it.
That's fantastic. That's great. So really glad you're here, and glad that you'll get to see a lot of things happening. And so thank you very much for being our liaison. We'd love to hear more perspectives of the youth council as the year goes. So it's, again, really great to have you. And I know all of us would be happy to answer any questions you have whenever you have them about our what we do in our professional lives and sort of what what's going on in Wakefield. So it's really great to welcome you to the planning board. So anyone else have anything by way of introduction to Maya from the planning board's perspective? Other than to tell her not to do it, not to be the liaison. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just say welcome, Maya, and I'm Erin. So I work for the town of Wakefield, and a lot of the documents that we're talking about, if you have any interest in reading them more or learning more, I'm more than happy to share that with you. And I think that's really impressive in 8th grade, you're writing documents like that. I don't know if I was in 8th grade, so you're on a good track already. So yeah, feel free to reach out. I can share my email with you too, if there's anything of interest. But thanks.
Excellent. Good. That's fantastic. I just had a couple of housekeeping things, but I wanted to turn it over to the rest of y'all. If you have any items to bring up. And
Theo, Bill's raising his hand.
oh yeah, come on, Bill.
Hi, Theo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, first, congratulations and welcome, Maya. I'm really excited to have you here. And as Erin mentioned too, if you want to reach out to any of us, Erin has all of our emails and all of our contact information if you're looking for more information. I just want to put out there that Safe Streets Wakefield will be having our planning meeting this Saturday So if anybody on this board has anything they want to add from safe streets, routes to school, different events that are coming up, please feed them through me and I can get them on our agenda for the year. Thanks.
All right. Great. All right. Jim or Matt?
Yeah, I think I would echo everything that that everyone here said. Welcome, Maya. I think it's impressive, and definitely this is a great board to understand some of the different planning aspects. And to your point, transportation. As much as we all would love to control the MBTA, unfortunately, some of us, we don't have quite as much juice as that. But in terms of housing, that's definitely something that we are very focused on and very motivated to help manage and make sure that everyone in town gets their voice, and we ultimately end up ensuring that we're providing housing for all within the town. So congratulations on coming on attending and being part of the youth council. I think that's great, and looking forward for your input. And like everyone else, if you need or have any interest in reaching out, feel free to.
The things that I wanted to mention, just there are a couple items that we've been working on that we want to follow up, and we can, I think, try to plan ahead to put them on the agenda. The first is thanks to Bill and Matt for continuing to edit the subdivision rules and regulations. I think we're pretty close. Bill, you said you need a little editing or formatting from.
It's not that the editing and formatting's okay. What I did was I compared it back to what's on the codes on the site and codes. And I noticed some of the actual sections and titles is different than the letters underneath it. So what I want to do is cross-reference it to that. It's kind of, and Matt, you know this, it's brain numbing, but I would have two side-by-side screens of one shot of the working document and the other shot of the codes, and I could go back and forth. And as I was finishing up all the editing, I wasn't paying attention to the content too much. And then I went back and looked at the content. And like I mentioned, the headings were off by one, meaning all of the all the other pieces of information below the titles were shifted down. So I have to go back and either just copy and paste and start over with that or figure it out.
Yeah, I was trying to do a tracking document to see where things were moved, and that's when I decided we just need a whole new rewrite and just reorganize it. That's why you'll see we have items have been put in, moved, tweaked. So it's my suggestion would be not even try to compare it to the old one yet until it's kind of formatted closely, and then go back and look and see if we've missed anything. But it's that's where I got hung up, is the formatting. It gets very
well, that's where I am at. All the formatting's done. I was going back to compare them, and that's when I noticed the discrepancy. So Theo's going to help me out with that, just to have a second set of eyes. Yeah.
Right. You'll be half numbed and I'll be half numbed, and that's okay. That's a little bit better. No, I definitely want to help. All right. So we're close on that. I am going to follow up with the bylaw committee and get their final green light on our street name change proposal, and I will bring that back to the planning board.
Theo, has the bylaw committee indicated any proposed timeline after the various back and forths that occurred in terms of when they want to get their comments back to us? Given the fact that we'd already got this to the 1 yard line, I'd be interested in understanding when they think they can provide their comments, so we can have something ready that we can propose to the town and actually get this past the finish line.
Yeah, I think they were 99% done by the end of December. So I want to check in, and I can report back on the we should just save it as an item for the February 28th. So I will find out when the next meeting is. I can
Yeah,
try to have an
Theo,
update. for
I'd
you.
advocate we stay away from the 28th if possible, given the fact that
Oh,
we have the
that's the
question and
last one.
answers.
Yeah.
I would
so-
advocate similar to this meeting, the meeting in between the two MBTA presentations, so the 14th. Or if it needs to punt to March, that would be the March 14th. But I strongly feel as if, given the given where it was, if we don't hit the Springtown meeting or we don't hit the Springtown meeting, that would be very frustrating.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna let that go by. All right. Let me do everything I can to get an update from them, and I will bring it back for the next meeting. And then if we have to formally review anything, that would be March 14th, and then we'll be able to send it to town council well in advance of the May town meeting. So no, they promised us that we wouldn't miss the next meeting. So, I will have an update on the open space and recreation plan working group for the group at the next meeting. So we're the other thing I wanted to follow up on was really just dates. The Wakefield, the school building program committee has a meeting and tours on Saturday, January 21st. There is a special town meeting on January 28th at 9 a.m. in the field house. So that's important to get to. For us, January 28th is our next meeting, and our second MBTA communities meeting. We were, and as Aaron mentioned, February 1st is the master plan Zoom meeting. We were going to cancel our February 14th planning board meeting. That's something that we had talked about in the past. Is that still what is of interest to people, or do we want to have a planning board meeting on the 14th? All right, we will keep it canceled.
Well, I think just wait until, unless people have any strong opinions either way, just wait until closer to that date in case something does come up.
Okay.
If we get a filing, we don't want to have a filing done at the same time as the master plan, or
Yeah.
I mean, as the community, MBTA community is going on too. So just for logistics, if something comes, let's not pile it all on the end of the month if possible.
Yeah. All right.
And we were.
We could cancel that theoretically as late as the next meeting on the 24th of January,
Oh
correct?
yeah, definitely.
You can cancel it up until the agenda goes out. So you can cancel it till Thursday before, basically.
Gotcha.
There's nothing going on. We've canceled it. So
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Those are all the very simple things that I had on my to-do list. So, anyone else? Okay.
The only thing I'll say is I've talked about in the past, so I would feel bad if I didn't mention anything. The bike ped plan, we're
Oh,
still
yeah.
working. Me and Bill had a meeting with the consultant last week. And so that's all I have right now. I know they want to finish it. Again, they've been short-staffed. So that's, prolonged the process here, but that's the update I have right now on that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Good that all these things are in the works. So that's wonderful. Thank you. All right. Before we go, Maya, do you have any other questions based on what you've heard, or does anybody else have anything else to add?
Personally, I don't have any questions, but it's just really interesting to hear. And I'm just making sure that January 24th and February 28th are like the appointed next meeting dates.
And possibly in between the February 14th. So,
February 14th. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
great. All right. I'm trying to stall so that we don't, Matt still holds the record for the shortest meeting, but I don't think I can do it any longer. So if there isn't any other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn. So,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
all right. Thank you, Matt. And a second.
Second.
All right. Terrific. All right. Yeah. All in favor? Bill Spalding.
Yes.
Yeah. Jim Hogan.
Yes.
Matt Lowry.
Yes.
And Fiona and myself, yes. So thank you, everybody. Let you enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for all your good work.
Thank you, Theo.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Theo.
Thanks. We'll see you guys.
Showing.
See ya.
Bye.